Hello and welcome, everyone. Finally, I can speak to you without the echo, so therefore you're going to find out that I'm not actually a stutterer. And today we heard from Pierce. It was a fantastic speech, and I hope you enjoyed the quickfire networking as well. So now we go to another super sharp person who's an expert in his field. We go to Peter Czapp. He'll be talking to you about achieving super profitability. So over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Barris. Hello, everyone. I'm really looking forward to this. I've got some slides to share because there's quite a bit of information to go through. So I'm just going to share my screen and we will get cracking. So let's do this. So today we are talking about building a super profitable agency. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Peter Czapp, and this is my world. So 17 and a half years ago, I set up an accountancy practice with my business partner, Paul, and that has grown into the agency specialists. We typically work with agencies between 8 and 80 staff, and we help them build profitable and sustainable businesses, something I'm particularly passionate about, as you will discover. Some of our clients kept coming to us with the same challenges around not just their finances, but around how to grow their agencies, win the right type of work, manage it profitably, find great talent, manage that talent, and generally kind of ride the roller coaster life that is agency life. So what I wanted to do was bring agencies together to help solve those challenges. And so I set up the Agency Collective. That's now grown to be the best peer support community in the world for agencies. We've got over 750 agency owners and senior leaders who come together to solve those challenges online. It is a wonderful community, definitely worth checking out. Throughout seeing those stories, I've always been curious around the agencies that seem to do better than the others. And so in 2012, I started benchmarking agencies through Bench Press. And we now have data from the last pretty much nearly 10 years around how agencies are performing, and we publish them each year in some incredible reports. Now, the thread that runs through all of this work, all of the work that I do, is this common theme about how you can build a profitable and sustainable agency. I've seen far too many talented agencies with great visions, great teams go bust because they didn't have the right financial infrastructure in place. They weren't profitable and they weren't sustainable. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. But I've only got 15 minutes, and that is absolutely going to fly by. I love the challenge of condensing everything I've learned in 17 and a half years down into 15 minutes. But if you are looking to go deeper with this subject, there is some further reading for you to do, some further videos, some further benchmarks, and a load of great interviews with agency owners. So if you go to wowco.uk/profit, you will see some incredible resources to help you increase the profit in your agency. So that's if you want to go deeper. For now, I'm going to give you the headlines. This is the key bits of information you need to grow a super profitable agency. It starts with mindset. And this is a great place to start. It always starts with mindset, right? And the thing I want to get you thinking about is how you think about profit in your agency. Are you planning to make profit in your agency? And I mean, really meticulously planning. Have you sat down and produced a profit forecast that shows you how and where you are going to make money in the next 12 months, in the next 36 months? Because I know from what I've seen, you can make profit in a single year. You know, you can have a good year, you can fluke it. But to really create sustainable, long-lasting profitability, and to do that year after year, you need to forecast it. You need to plan it, and you need to go into much more detail than you're currently doing. Here's the thing: whatever level you're at, there is always the next level above. And I'm going to challenge you to think about what that next level looks like for you and your agency. So when putting your forecast together, a really good place to start is this metric. It is the key driving force for profitability in your business, and it is your gross profit percentage. And there's a very particular way to calculate it that will give you a meaningful number that will make a big difference in your planning. And I'm going to show you how to do that, show you what some averages are and what you really need to aim for to be elite. So some of you will have seen this before, but it's worth reminding yourself of it. And just to check in, how are you performing against this metric? So to calculate your gross profit percentage in a really meaningful way, you take your turnover. And what you do is you take off your recharge costs, anything that you recharge to clients. That might be travel expenses, it might be ad spend or print spend, things that you pass on to the client. And that's going to give you your fee income, right? What you then do is you take your fee income and you take away your chargeable wages. So all of the wages of all of your team that are engaged in actually doing the work. And if you have some people who spend part of their time doing work and part of their time on other activities, then you'll need a spreadsheet for this. You'll have to have their person's salary and all the ongoing costs as well. So it's not just salary, it's the national insurance contributions, pension contributions, the complete cost of these chargeable wages. And you will need to times it by 50% if they're 50% chargeable in order to give you this figure. Now, someone asked me a great question the other day. They said, oh, what happens if we've got someone who's 100% management? Should their time be included? And my question back was, well, who are they managing? Because if they're managing chargeable people who are being billed out to clients, and that's the only thing that they're doing is managing those chargeable people, then absolutely their time should be chargeable as well and should be counted as part of this gross profit calculation. So chargeable wages comes off fee income, and then you need to take freelancer costs out of there as well, because of course they're a direct cost of you delivering that work. Now, a lot of people stop there and think, yeah, that's me covered. And they're forgetting about your time as the director, as the owner of the business. Often that is not factored in. And particularly if you're a small agency, this can really screw or skew the stats, because if you're spending 50% of your time, say, doing the creative director work, well, that needs to be accounted for in these numbers, because if you don't, you're cheating. So if you are doing creative directive work for 50% of your time, then what's the market rate for that? Look that up, put 50% of that in there and take that off your fee income as well. And that's going to give you your gross profit. What you can then do is take that gross profit and divide it by fee income, not by turnover. And this is really important. Dividing it by fee income will give you a like-for-like measure against any agency of any size and of any type. It will allow you as a design agency to compare yourself to a tech agency, to a pay-per-click agency, because it just takes out all those recharge costs. So divide it by fee income, times it by 100, and that will give you your gross profit percentage. What the average in the UK for gross profit percentage is 44%, right? The top performers, really, you should be aiming for more than 50%. Now, agencies, as far as I'm concerned, and don't focus on this anywhere near enough. I've run the same study with consultants, and the consultants average was 11 points higher. It was 55%. Their gross profit percentage was 55%. So if you're sat there below 50%, you definitely got work to do. But even if you're above 50%, I'm going to challenge you to aim higher. Consultants average is 55%. Some of them were achieving 60, 70% gross profit. That is what elite looks like here. Do this calculation, see where you end up, and see what you can do about it. It's a really interesting exercise. Now, in doing that exercise, I don't want you just to look backwards. I want you to look forward. And in thinking about how much profit you want to make, I want to encourage you to focus on your high value offering. There will be something that you do that your clients disproportionately value in relation to the work that you need to put in. Here are some clues as to where that might be. So it might be some strategic advice that you give. Often if you're sat there as an agency owner, I see far too often agency owners giving their time away for free. You know, your brain power, your intellect, often the things that right at the start of a project, that strategic thinking is the most valuable thing. And yet we're often giving away for free as part of the pitch process. Don't do that. This is far too valuable. Have a think about how you can package that up as a particular offering. One of our clients had a light bulb moment with this when they realized they were giving so much of their strategic thought away. And they said, you know what, we're going to package that up and we're going to have a 5-day, it was really intensive that they took it to extreme. We're going to have a 5-day consultation whenever we work with clients. It's going to be a workshop. It's going to be back-to-back for a week. And they were a product development agency. And we're going to start the business start that week with an idea. And we're going to finish it with a complete roadmap for how we're going to develop this product. And that, in terms of a strategic offering, was something that I think they sold it for 20 grand, and it elevated them up out of the crowd, really, because a lot of other people were doing it for free. They made it a big thing, positioned it as high value, and picked up some great clients as a result. It might be something technical, by the way. Your high value offering might be something very, very specific, very technical that you do that no one else can do. And I think that theme of finding something that no one else can do or that you're particularly good at is a really smart move. In fact, I'd go further than that. I'd say, what can you be the best in the world at? And if you've heard me speak before, you know I'm fanatical about this concept because it really does work. You know, the more focused you can get, the better you can get at something, the higher price you can charge. So what is it that you do better than everyone else? How could you focus in on that? And by focusing in, it might be that what you do or what you are best in the world at might come in a particular niche. It will be something that you do that's highly valued, that has a low cost of delivery, and it might be in a particular sector. So it might be you're brilliant in the automotive sector or in the travel sector, or professional services firms. You just have a reputation and you're very good at a particular thing in a particular niche. And that's where it gets interesting. If you're good in a niche and you can combine that with a technical expertise, you can charge what you want, particularly if you're the best in the world at it. And ultimately, what I encourage you to do is to find your profit sweet spot. So often, our data tells us that all other things being equal, or by and large, the bigger projects you have, the more profit you make. We've seen this time and time again with the data that we have over the years. But there are, of course, exceptions. So I remember chatting to an agency owner who said to me, actually, the real big projects are just too complex for us. We've worked out that our profit sweet spot is digital transformation projects between 20 and 50 grand. Smaller than that, it's not worth getting out of bed for. Higher than that, and it's too complicated, we mess it up. So where is your profit sweet spot? Going back to this planning process, going back to your gross profit percentage, what clues do you have around where you're making money and where you're not? So when you're putting your forecast together, you can focus on the areas where you make the most profit. Now, time for quick wins. I've got about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to talk quickly. So here's some quick wins to help you increase the profitability you make. First of all, when you're pricing, don't give one pricing option, give 3 pricing options. This was a concept covered in this brilliant book by Blair Enns, Pricing Creativity. I haven't got time to take you through it now. It's a wonderful book. So many agencies have read it and it's transformed what they do. I mean, literally transformed what they do. I remember one client came to me at the beginning of the summer, worried about his profitability. I told him to read this book. And then over the course of the summer, he told me that he had his 10 grand offering, he gradually sold for 15, 20, 25. And by the end of the summer, he was selling it for 60 grand, 6 times the amount, simply by giving 3 pricing options. What opportunities are you missing out on by only giving 1? The next thing to do that will change your profitability and stop it leaking out of your business when it comes to project management is this. Have the conversation about scope creep up front, right? Don't have it when you're stressed 24 hours before a deadline and the client gives you some extra work. What you need to do is right at the start of the relationship, say, how do you want to handle things when we go out of scope? What's the sign-off procedure? And what budgets does everyone have to sign things off? Agree that process. And then when things go out of scope, you can say, hey, this is outside of scope. As we agreed, this is the process. And it might be as simple as an hourly rate, or it might be a form they need to sign to approve additional budget. But agree that up front. Don't let it be a stress point in the middle of a project. I talked about working out where you make money and where you don't. Getting fanatical about the reporting is key to that. That gross profit percentage. Do you know how much money you make in every single department, every single offering that you provide? I remember a few years ago, a client of ours, we did this exercise for them. They were an SEO and a web design business. They realized the web design business made them absolutely no money. All the profit was in the SEO. And from that moment forward, they made a very simple decision. We will do websites, but only if we have an SEO contract signed, ready to go immediately. The website is built. Once you see that data, it's very hard to unsee it. What do you need to get fanatical about when it comes to your reporting? Right, some quick wins for existing clients. Referrals are the #1 way for us to pick up new business. We've seen that in our stats year after year. And yet I am shocked at how poor we are at asking for them. How we don't have strategies in place for asking for referrals. So I'd encourage you to get good at that. Get your whole team involved. It will make a big difference. Something else you can get your team involved in is pitching to existing customers. I remember chatting to a client at the start of COVID, and she said, you know what? COVID's given me a big kick up the backside. She said, I've done something that I've been meaning to do for years. We're now pitching to our existing customers every single month. We'll pick a couple, we'll go to them and say, we've got some ideas, and they're winning work off the back of it. Here's the final thought to keep me on time. You need to get the whole team involved. If you are the only one thinking about profitability, this will be a lonely pursuit. It will be hard work. So get the whole team involved in this process, help them understand what profit means for them and the business, and great things will happen. Now, this is just a start. If you're looking for more information on your profit journey, go to wowco.uk/profit. There's a ton of resources that you can use that will make a real difference. So that's me. We're done. On with the show. I'm really enjoying it so far. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you online later. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Peter. That was fantastic. That was really detailed. And if I started agency business in the future, I know who to go to now as my accountants. And the study that Peter talked about, the bench press study, you can actually find a link to that study if you go to the virtual booth of the Wow company within our platform. You can, on the left again of your screen, you can browse to exhibitors. And from there, you can find the Wow company. And in there, there's a link to the bench press study that he just talked about. So, without further ado, we go to our second quickfire networking break of the day. And I hope you enjoyed this one too. But remember to be back here in 15 minutes' time because we got more content coming your way. So, over to the quickfire networking now. Thank you so much.